Welcome to another episode of Quietly Brave HQ, research-based audio overviews, powered by Pratik.
So today we're going to look at a tension that I think sits right at the center of modern life.
Okay.
It's something that's becoming incredibly familiar, especially to students and young people, but it's actually really difficult to put into words.
And what's that?
It's the very specific experience of being judged by a mechanism that gives you absolutely no explanation.
I think I know that feeling. You know, when I was prepping for this, I kept thinking about that idea of pattern interrupt.
Right, but not the usual sense.
Exactly. Not like a loud noise. It's more of a pattern interrupt in your status.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, imagine you're watching a movie and the screen suddenly tears. You get that glitch effect.
It's jarring. It pulls you right out of the experience.
Yes. And now imagine that exact feeling, but it's applied to your life, to your grades or your reputation. You're just going about your day, you check an app, and suddenly glitch. A number is different, a red flag is there. The pattern of I'm doing fine is just broken.
And the key part is the confusion. You don't know why the game glitched. Is it the console? The internet?
You just know something's wrong, and there's nobody there to tell you what it is. That's the feeling we're diving into today, isn't it?
It is. We're looking at things like classroom CCTV, online grading portals, behavioral trackers.
You're just scrolling, checking your standing, and something shifts. But there's no human on the other end of the line.
It creates a very specific and very modern kind of anxiety. So before we go any further, maybe we should set the stage.
Yes, good idea. Just a quick disclaimer. While we are going to be discussing technology, power, and mental well-being, this conversation is purely for educational purposes.
Right.
We are not providing any medical or legal advice here. We're just trying to unpack the reality of the systems we're all living in.
And the term we're using for this deep dive is invisible power. We want to really understand how these algorithms are operating in the background of our lives. Because when we think of power, we usually picture a person, right?
Oh, absolutely. A boss, a principal, maybe a police officer. You see a human face?
But this is different. This is automated. And I think it's important to say this isn't science fiction.
No, not at all.
We're not talking about some future takeover. We're talking about software that is installed on school laptops right now.
Can we get specific on that? I think it's easy to hear algorithms are watching and get a vague Siri picture. What does it actually look like?
Okay, so it looks like engagement scoring. There are systems in use today that track how a student interacts with, say, a digital textbook.
How so?
It measures how fast you scroll, how long you hover over a certain page, or even, and this is the wild part, using the webcam to see where your eyes are looking.
Wait, really? Where your eyes are looking?
Yes. If you look away from the screen for too long during a remote exam, a flag gets raised.
That's incredibly stressful. I mean, I look away when I'm thinking. If I'm trying to work through a problem in my head, I look at the ceiling.
And that's exactly it. To a human teacher, looking up means thinking. But to a certain kind of algorithm, looking up can mean cheating.
And that gets us to the core of it, the black box problem, as the research calls it.
Black box, yeah. Let's break that down.
Please.
It just means a lack of transparency. You have a system, the box, that takes an input, like your eye movement, and it produces an output, like a flag for cheating.
But you can't see what happens inside.
You don't know the rules. You don't know how things are weighted. A grade is assigned, a scholarship application gets denied, and these decisions happen without your consent.
And without explanation. That's the part that's so maddening.
And often without any way to appeal it. That's the real kicker. If a teacher gives you a C on a paper, you can go talk to them.
Right. You can ask why. You can say, hey, I thought this paragraph was pretty strong.
And you might not like the answer they give you, but at least there is an answer. There's a conversation.
With a black box system,
Rip.
There's just silence.
You get the score. That's it. End of transaction.
I saw a line in the material that really stopped me. It said, power is most dangerous when it doesn't have to explain itself. That feels heavy.
It is heavy, and it's true. I mean, think about it. Throughout history, authority usually had to justify itself on some level.
Even a tyrant has to give a speech.
Right. A manager has to write a performance review. But an algorithm doesn't have to do any of that. It just executes code.
It's not wrestling with a conscience.
No. It just follows instructions, regardless of the nuance. It's so disorienting. It can make you feel like you're the one who's crazy.
And I think this leads us right into what the material calls the loneliness loop.
It does. Because this isn't just a technical problem about code, it's a massive psychological one.
So walk me through this loneliness loop. What does it actually feel like?
Okay, let's paint a picture. There's a student, it's late say 11:30 p.m. They've been working on a digital assignment for hours. They're tired, they're stressed, and they finally click submit.
I can feel that anxiety just thinking about it. You just want it to be over.
Exactly. And in the past, you'd hand that in to a person. They might smile or nod. You'd get a grade in a few days. But here, the student hits submit, and almost instantly the screen flashes. 62%. D minus.
Ouch. That is just brutal.
It's immediate, and it's silent. There's no note in the margin. No, you missed the point on question 4. There's just the number.
So the student is just sitting there alone in their room, staring at a screen that just told them they're not good enough.
And because there's no person, there is nowhere for that frustration or that confusion to go. You can't ask why. You are just completely alone with the judgment.
That's the loop.
That's the loop. The silence leads to internalization. The research is pretty clear that young people, and frankly adults too, they internalize this silence as a personal failure.
I guess if a person rejects you, you can rationalize it. You know, Mr. Johnson's always grumpy on Mondays or something.
Exactly. You can attribute it to their subjectivity. But when a computer rejects you, we have this bias. We tend to trust machines as being objective.
So if the computer says you're a D minus, it feels like a fact.
It feels like an objective truth, like the machine knows something about you that you don't. It's terrifying.
It's like gaslighting on a massive scale.
And it leads to these emotional outcomes. Isolation, helplessness, and something that's being called quiet burnout.
An exhaustion that comes from trying to please a judge that never speaks.
There's a key distinction made in the material that I think is so important. You don't feel rejected by a person. You feel rejected by the system.
And when it's a person, you can get angry. You can vent. But when it's a system, you just feel small.
You feel like you don't matter. But having said all that, and I know it sounds bleak, we do need to pivot here. We need a reality check.
Yeah, let's strip away the sci-fi fear for a minute, because it's easy to start thinking of AI as this all-knowing superintelligence. But is it?
No. And this is probably the most important thing to grasp. Under the hood, AI is much simpler and honestly much dumber than people think.
Okay.
AI is essentially pattern matching. It's not understanding. It is optimization, not empathy. And it is correlation, not truth.
Correlation, not truth. Let's unpack that. That feels like the key to breaking the spell.
Sure. Think of a classic statistics example. In the summer, ice cream sales go up.
Right.
And in the summer, shark attacks also go up. And AI, looking at just that data, might conclude that eating ice cream causes shark attacks.
Which is ridiculous. They both happen because it's hot and people are at the beach.
Exactly. But the AI doesn't know what summer or beach or sharks are. It just sees two numbers moving together. So now, apply that to education. An AI might see that students who get A's tend to type in a certain speed, so it flags anyone who types slower or even faster.
So my typing speed doesn't cause my intelligence any more than ice cream causes shark attacks.
Correct. But the system correlates them. It doesn't mean you aren't smart. It just means you don't fit the mathematical pattern it was trained on.
So it's not that the AI is evil. It's not sitting in a server room plotting against you.
No, absolutely not. It's indifferent. But, and this is the crucial part, unchallenged systems are dangerous. Indifference can be just as harmful as malice when it's scaled up to affect millions.
This episode is an AI-assisted audio overview based on structured synthesis.
And realizing that these are just math problems, often flawed math problems, that actually gives us an opening. If we know it's not magic, we can start to figure out how to navigate it.
This brings us to the tools for agency part of our discussion. And honestly, this is what I've been waiting for. If you're feeling stuck in that loop, what can you actually do?
Right. We need to move from feeling helpless to taking action. And the first tool is information. It sounds simple, but it means you have to start asking questions.
Stop just accepting the score as fact.
Yes. Ask what data is being collected here. And, more importantly, who benefits from this score?
Who benefits? That's a powerful question, because it's usually not for you, is it?
Rarely. It's for the institution to rank you, or an advertiser to target you. Realizing that helps create some distance. You can see, oh, this number isn't a measure of my worth, it's a measure of my utility to the system.
Okay, so that's tool one. What's the second?
The second is a bit more tedious, but it's vital. Documentation.
Creating a paper trail.
You have to. If you see a glitch, a grade change that makes no sense, a flag you don't understand, screenshot it. Immediately.
Do you really have to be that diligent?
In a world of black boxes, yes. Because digital systems are transient. A glitch happens, the page refreshes, it's gone. If you go to an administrator and just say, the system messed up, They might not believe you.
But if you have a screenshot with a timestamp, that's evidence.
You're moving from feelings to facts. Log the date. Note the inconsistency. A system might glitch. An algorithm might drift. If you have a log, you have leverage.
And that leverage gets so much stronger with the third tool, which I think is the most inspiring one, collective communities.
This is the most important one. Parent alliances,
Yeah.
student study groups, youth forums. Because the algorithm wants you to be an isolated data point. It wants you alone in your room.
But when you come together, you see the bigger picture. There's a line from the material that just sums it up perfectly. One voice is noise. Patterns are power.
That is it. If one person says, "This software flagged me unfairly," the system can dismiss that as an anomaly, a user error.
But if 50 students come forward,
If 50 students come forward with documented logs showing the exact same error, that's a pattern. And an algorithm, or at least the people running it, cannot ignore a documented pattern found by a community.
it's turning the tables. The system uses pattern matching on you, so you use pattern matching on the system.
You reclaim the mechanism. You go from being a passive subject to an active observer.
This all leads to the broader philosophy here, doesn't it? The idea of connection versus control.
It does. These systems are designed to isolate you, to treat you as an individual who can be measured and optimized. But communities work in the opposite way. They multiply strength.
So the antidote to all this isn't just smashing the machine and becoming a Luddite.
No, because the technology isn't going away. The core idea here is this. The opposite of algorithmic control isn't rebellion, it's connection.
Rebellion is a reaction, connection is a creation.
Exactly. It's about building something human that the algorithm can't replicate.
It's about quiet courage. We think of courage as this loud, dramatic act. But in this context, courage might just be texting a friend and saying, "Hey, did this happen to you too?"
Yes, courage is comparing notes. It's refusing to be isolated by the interface. It's admitting, hey, I got a bad score and I don't know why, and then finding out you're not alone.
And that kind of courage can scale. I love the line, "Quiet courage scales faster than code."
Think about that. Code takes time to write and deploy. Bugs have to be fixed. But a shared realization in a group of people, that can happen in an instant. A truth travels through a student body faster than any software update.
Once you see the math behind the black box, you can't unsee it.
And you stop looking for validation from the machine, and you start looking for solidarity with other people.
A much more stable place to build your self-worth.
Infinitely more.
So as we wrap this up, we want to leave you with a specific invitation. It's very much in the quietly brave style. We're not asking you to overhaul your entire life.
No, the invitation is simple. Share this deep dive with just one person. Start one conversation. Ask a friend, do you ever feel judged by the apps we use?
Or join one community where these things are talked about. It doesn't have to be big.
It just has to be real. The system thrives on your silence. And breaking that silence, even with just one other person, is an act of power.
Quiet courage scales faster than code. That's the thought to carry with you.
Thank you for listening to Quietly Brave HQ, research-based audio overviews powered by Pratik. Until next time, namaste.